Hey crew, welcome back to Hobby Time. Been a while. As I said, I'm doing some different projects at the moment. Some certain things that take me a little bit more time than what the armor takes me. The armor takes a while, but this stuff is killing me. Um, so the minis and stuff like that, yeah, they're going really well. Practice painting and everything like that. Getting some really good tips from my mate Hayden Pollard. Now, this build today, we are going to do Lieutenant Titus from the Space Marine 2 game. As you can see, he is fighting one of the Thousand Suns at the moment. This file was given to me by my friend Hayden. Now I've scaled it up 200%. Yeah, so if it's worth doing, it's worth overdoing. But stick with us on this one, guys. We'll go through the builds, what I've done, just painting and weathering and the paints I used. As you can probably see from behind me there, the paints have gone from about 20 to about 80 in the last couple of builds. So I will say it does take a lot more time, effort, money to do something like this than say a full suit of armour. But stick with us, guys, and we'll get it built together. So what I've done here is the main parts, the legs and torso, I FDM printed, as you can see, simply because they were massive and wouldn't fit on my printer. A couple of photos there of it together. Now we did need to do a little bit more sanding and filling and stuff like that for it, but I think it come together all right. As you can see, disadvantage of using FDM here is the fact that we needed to go through and I needed to fill a few things and use the soldering iron to sand a few things down, and there was a lot more post-processing work to get a model of this detail. Most of the Chaos Marine I've FDM printed because he's underneath the Space Marine. I thought, oh, I can get away with it. There was some things I've redone which you'll see later in the video, but just doing a quick test fit here just with some hot glue to see how everything will come together. I like to do that with the bigger models now. It just gives me a bit more to work with, and I can sort of see, okay, so which do I want to pull apart and paint? Do I want to do it all in one hit, go backwards and forwards and everything like that? Also, it helps keep me motivated for the builds like these. This probably takes the same amount of time as a full suit of armor, so it's not exactly easy, and props off to the guys who do this stuff all the time. Here was the head. Now this took me a while to do. I had a couple of goes at it to get it how I wanted to, and I've watched a ton of YouTube videos, and my friend Hayden Pollard from Hayden Pollard Studios, he was a great help. That was the first version of Titus's face I went to, but he looked kind of dead, so I've kind of gone out and winged it a little bit, and I made a few mistakes. As you can see, I've added a fair bit of pink and a fair bit of red, and there was a lot of backwards and forwards and probably too many coats, to be honest with you. But this is all new for me. I normally paint, as you know, I do armor, I do helmets, I don't do faces, I don't do humans or anything like that. But I think it turned out okay in the end. You'll see the end result obviously at the end of the video, but yeah, I'm quite happy with it. I had to make a few modifications after I thought I was done because it didn't really work on the armor, but yeah, first full size head, I guess you could say, on a model. But as I mentioned, I made it too white, and then I made it too red, and then I kind of went backwards and forwards and argued with myself and thought about trashing it. This was a version that I was originally happy on, and then over time I didn't really like it, so then I added some more grime to try and match it. But you can see here the 4 different versions of the face. Obviously settled on version 4 in the end. Now, I stuffed the pack up. I didn't cure the resin for the pack enough, and I had to repaint everything on that pack, which was really annoying. Sand it back, and unfortunately these mistakes happen, so it cost me a lot of time and a bit of paint and everything like that. But hey, you live and learn from these things. It was my fault. Didn't cure it long enough, didn't wash it enough, and I used the wrong type of paint. Now on these you can see that I'm working on the arms and bits and pieces, but off in the distance you can see the shoulder pauldrons. Now they were originally FDM printed and they looked okay, so I went ahead and I continued on with them and everything like that, done some detail work and you know, kept working on them, and I just really wasn't happy with how they looked. So you'll see that I actually redone them, and it's the same with the Thousand Suns. Originally I went with this blue, and after watching Space Marine 2 I changed it a little bit. Same as the Space Marine, I used Ultramarine blue for him, and then obviously on the Thousand Suns Marine I've used the metallic blue, very much the same as I used for the Henry Cavill Superman, which I thought worked really well. It popped a little bit more for me, and it just the light hit it a little bit better with the brassy brass. You'll have to excuse my stupid airbrush cover that keeps falling down, very, very annoying there. But now I'm on to sort of extra work. My airbrush died, I've got a new one now finally, so I shouldn't have any problems anymore, but I'm just adding more and more progressive layers and slightly different shades here to get that better lighting and obviously highlights and stuff like that. I try not to go as much as some people, especially miniature builders, because it's going to sit in a neutral lighting area. I didn't want to have one lighting source just highlighting everything and then looking a bit weird, so I did change it. Hopefully it worked. You'll see at the end, you can let me know. And now I'm obviously painting the black, so going through and just using the standard Vallejo model black in the recesses, in the shoulder armor, the joins and everything like that, just to zhuzh it up, I guess you could say. And I'm onto the loincloth here. Now I think I airbrushed, I think it was a little bit of black, and then I used some grey, and then I believe I used a shade, I think it was like Skeleton Horde or something like that. I did see another video on YouTube and I thought, oh, I really like that colour, so I've adapted that. I'll try find the gentleman's video and link it, because that was really, really good. Now onto the gold and obviously the knee armour. I've switched away from the Vallejo gold because it was a really, really big problem for me. I couldn't get it to lay down well. It just always was really patchy and everything like that. So I took someone's advice and I switched to the Citadel Retributor armour, and that stuff is amazing. It's not as bright as the Vallejo, but it lays down really well and it's consistent, which is great. Now, same as the silver, I've switched from the Vallejo silver, and I believe I'm now using, it could be lead belcher, which gives a really good metallic silver, not too overly chrome, not too poppy or anything like that, but I was very, very happy with the battle damage and stuff like that, and also you could lay a really good wash on top of it and not worry about the paint fading. Now this was a killer. The Thousand Suns Marine was literally, for me, because I based on the game, was pretty much two colours. Now I think it was brassy brass that I used, and I used the metallic blue from Vallejo. This thing took longer than anything else, than the entire Marine, because it was just so tedious. And obviously there's the other details and stuff like that in there that you can see, but from that photo you can see how I changed colours, which you'll see towards the end of the video. There you are, totally different. I've gone and just replaced everything, so it took twice as long, but I think the results ended up being a lot better than original. It just turned out a lot more vibrant, you know, it popped a lot more, it looked a lot more sort of epic and grand scale, so I was happy with that. Now with the Thousand Suns Chaos Marine, I also FDM printed the shoulder pauldrons and the side plates. Now I wasn't exactly happy with those, so you'll see in a minute that I did also replace those, but this is pretty much, I would say, 20 hours worth of work doing this guy. Just adding some final details now, a little bit of little bit of broken bones and busted pieces because he is missing body parts. Now these are the resin printed pauldrons for the Space Marine. I think they turned out a lot better. Now I'll show some photos in a minute showing the before and after, or I guess the FDM and the resin, and you will see that resin definitely has its benefits. Left is FDM, right is resin. Left is FDM, right is resin. So very much an improvement on those ones. And I did the same here with the Thousand Suns Marine. Simply because just with the small parts and the detailed lines and everything like that, and because they were a focal point of both the Chaos Marine and the Space Marine and Titus, they had to have that extra detail. No matter the amount of sanding that I done and adaptive layer lines and stuff like that, I had to switch it over. There was just no choice for the detail. Now you've got here his little reliquary, which I originally FTM printed. Now I've gone through and I resin printed it. But you can see the two different versions there of the Thousand Suns. Just getting a wash now with some Agrax Earth Shade, I believe, and just a few touch-ups here and there. I also had to do the purity seals for Titus. He has 3, I believe. So just giving them a wash to try and get those things to pop out. Now you can see left and right, again, FDM and resin. And there is the final product, pretty much done, except for the base. Now the base was all FDM, 4 parts. I've tried to keep it as simple as possible, so I've got the soldering iron out here, just filling in some lines and some gaps, just to make it look like it is one piece, because there's no way my printer could print those. I've used some of the skeleton horde. I've used a little bit of grey on this, black for the border, and very simple and nice and easy. And here we go, we're just doing some final touch-ups on everything, just trying to go through and find bits, and this probably took me longer than anything because I was very annoyed with it. And also the flag, I had trouble with the flag, and my printer had trouble with the flag, but I got it done. Hopefully turned out okay. And here is the final product. So let me know what you think, guys. This is the overall shot. Very happy. This thing is 850 millimeters tall, I think, in the end, so quite a big boy. Very happy. This is like one of my first big builds, other than the Big Daddy. This was huge compared to the Big Daddy, and obviously Superman as well. But I've got a couple of photos here for you, just showing under some different lighting and stuff like that, so you can see what you think, the details on it. Let me know in the comments. It'd be great to see like what people think, and always happy for tips and tricks and everything like that. If anyone's got them, share them with me. I can only get better. Well, hopefully only get better. I certainly can't get any worse. But guys, yeah, that's pretty much it for this build. Anyway guys, that was the Space Marine 2 build of Titus. I hope you enjoyed it. I loved it. Learned some great new things for me, as I mentioned in the video. Now next, I might go back into doing some big stuff. I've got a few files that I want to play with at the moment. Got a new printer coming as well to trial out too, so I'll be able to get that off and show you all what that's like. And I may go and do some retro stuff, I think. You know, I'm a child of the 80s, so we might do some life-size stuff from 80s movies and things like that. Let me know what your thoughts are, if you want to see me do a mini or a life-scale mini or something like that. But anyway, as always guys, thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, share, all the usual stuff, so the algorithm knows that you are watching, especially with the Titus build. But as usual, thanks guys, we'll catch you on the next one.